Hi. If you're watching this, you probably know me personally, but possibly not. Tonight is the maiden voyage of a new series that I'm creating. I have a couple of unfinished series already on YouTube, and I'm working on them, but a lot of complications happened. The name of this series is Andrew Talks About Things as He Folds Laundry. I noticed that there are some people who on the internet kind of just talk about their lives as they're doing things in their lives. And I thought, well, one of the reasons why I like to use YouTube is to find out about other people's lives. And another reason I like to use YouTube is to connect to humans, to other humans. So the format is that I'm going to fold laundry and I'm going to talk to you about my life. I don't have very much laundry tonight, so this might be a really short first episode. But I am going to start by telling you a dream. I also have a series on YouTube that is about dreaming. It was called Dream in Public, and the idea was that dreams are typically thought of as something that people either, oh, these are really weird things that I'm thinking about in the night, what's going on, or people take them really seriously, like me, and say, this is something that I need to listen to and try to figure out what it's trying to help me understand. And I was kind of making this argument that maybe dreams aren't just for ourselves, but that in fact, if they're really, truly, kind of deeply important, that they're maybe for everybody. Not for everybody, but they're given to individuals to share and hold with other people. That is my orientation for dreams. And so why not be on YouTube talking to you about my dreams? I'm at the end of the old year and the beginning of the new year, and I'm often very motivated to go back and read my dreams and my journals and kind of make some assessments about the year. But I especially like finding dreams that I think are worth holding and attending to more. In fact, it was one of my New Year's resolutions last year to spend more time attending to my dreams, not just capturing them, which I've been doing for quite a few years in these little books. Every morning when I wake up, if I have a dream to capture. But also then spending some time to kind of work with the dream. There's all these wisdom traditions about dreams and how they function for us and what their meanings are and how we might use them well. I've spent some time thinking about those things. So, oh, that was weird how the color changed. Love that. This shirt is it's one of those shirts that's so old. I got it as a gift from someone very important to me who bought it on a trip to Chicago, I think during St. Patrick's Day weekend. And since I'm Irish, this person brought it back for me. And it's so faded, but I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. I'm a little bit of a hoarder about dreams too. Okay, in this dream, this was the first dream I had of this past year of 2024. And in this dream, I was walking toward a building, and it was about a 3-story building. It was pretty square in shape. It had a carport in front of it, and it looked like it was maybe built in the 1990s to be a dormitory. I was walking toward it behind a moping child, maybe of 7 or 8 years old. And I couldn't help and he was looking at that building like he had a history with it, a special knowledge of it. I speculated that maybe he lived in some other building around here on this street, but that this building had in some way rejected him, refused him. All of this are things that I derived from watching his reaction. And it was just really his body language reaction, because I guess probably the speed of his walk. Oh, it's not working out to be trying to tell a story and do a good job with folding. Later, next time, I'll be sure to show you my regular folding method, because I will have everything a little more ready. This is a series I've been planning on doing for a long time, but I just, like the actual implementation is totally like just happening right now in the moment. I don't think I'll ever tell anybody that I'm making this. It'll just like, I'm not gonna publicize it on any social media that I have. It'll just be like, if people find it, great. If they don't find it, great. I'm not, so I used to have these arguments with my son that I was going to, it was one of my life goals to become YouTube famous for puppetry. Not for puppetry, not because I was such a great puppeteer, but like YouTube famous for puppets. I wanted to have a YouTube show where I used puppets, like exclusively puppets, to express a wider range of human emotions. Some of you remember that the main character in that one movie, what's that movie called? I feel like this happens to me every time that I try to talk about this movie. It's the movie where, I want to say John Cusack is the star of it, but that even feels slightly wrong. I know what it's called. It's called Being John Malkovich. So it's a fantastic, weird movie, but the main character, I really think it is John Cusack. I'm not positive. He's very into puppets. He's a New York City street puppeteer, and he's gonna make it work. I think it's a collaboration between like Spike Jonze, is this true? And my absolute favorite writer. His name I also can't remember. Don't you love it when you're in your position and you know exactly the writer, and you're like shouting it at me, and you're like, why won't he listen to me? Right now you're shouting it at me. It's this guy who wrote all these fantastic films, and then later he started making his own films. He made this film about screenwriting that included Nick Cage and I think Meryl Streep. I think Meryl Streep was playing the role of Susan Orlean, and it was called The Orchid Thief, the book that was being adapted, and the movie was called Adaptation, and I still can't tell you the name of the writer, Charlie Kaufman. What a triumph. Okay, so this kid is walking toward this building and moping, and I do notice one interesting thing about the building, and that is that on the first floor of the building, there is a storefront window in one of the apartments or the dorm areas. I don't really know what's inside the building, but there's do you love white t-shirts as much as I do? To me, they're absolutely the most such a ridiculous thing to say, excellent piece of manly casual wear around the house imaginable. Like there's something called gender dysphoria, but there's also something called gender euphoria, and I actually don't know. I haven't read very much about this, so I don't know if people who have gender euphoria have they like their gender like a little too much, that they make it hard for other people. But if that's not the case, if they're just people who really like being the gender they were assigned at birth and socialized into hereafter, I'm one of those people. I really like, being a man. Especially like white t-shirts as a symbol of manhood. And I think it's maybe interesting and indicative of some things about my own upbringing and the class structure norms that were taught to me, because like the other kind of white undershirt, the tank top, the white beater look, that's not something that was ever a part of my tradition. I think they look cool. And I think that like when I wear one of those, I'm like playing the part of like a this is another term that I don't know if it has a shady history. A roughneck. Someone who's in the working class. Roughneck sounds like it might have a bit of a shady history. So that storefront window had been painted over white, which I always think that when I see a storefront window that's been painted over white from the inside, it to me signifies the loss of a dream. and not a dream at night like the ones that we're talking about right now, but instead the loss of like something that someone hoped to do in that space that was the culmination of so many like thoughts and feelings and so much hard work and so many sacrifices, and probably they had lost a lot of money, or like something really good had lasted for a long time but then just run its course and it was over. And so like painting the inside of that window white, it was just this like enormously kind of sad thing. I mean, and I guess I feel like that's true about windows in general too, right? Like, I mean, the wonderful thing about windows is that they let the light in. Like philosophically, as an insider, someone who's inside of a house in a building right now, it is one of my literal most favorite things. This window that I have that overlooks some woods and some condos, and then there's a road. It's literally probably my favorite thing about this condo that I live in, is how wide it is, how much sunlight I get. And curiously though, the light that comes in also carries in the gaze of the outsider, G-A-Z-E, gaze of the outsider, right? The gaze of the outsider is able to look, to join, because of the combination of windows and light. It is impossible to see without light, right? So when light carries light into the insiders, it also carries in, by proxy, the hearts, the minds, the curiosity, the intentions of all kinds of the outsiders. Okay, that's not really part of my dream, but one of the things this does do is sort of like fleshes out all these kind of connotations that may be at play. I'm not doing any dream interpretation. My old series was about dream interpretation. I'm just sharing my dreams and inviting you to hold them with me. You've been watching this for 12 minutes. I said this was going to be a short episode. I'm done folding, so should I just stop now and pick up this dream next time? No, I'm just going to finish the dream. So I passed the moping child. I'd been walking behind him until this point, but I passed the moping child. And when I passed him, I didn't, make a concerted effort to look at him, but I was so startled because everything about his pace, his gait, his clothes, his size, they all made me believe that he was a 7 or 8 year old child. And once I passed him, it was clear that he was a man who was in his mid to early 20s. And as I watched he was distraught. He wasn't just moping. He was like distraught and confused. And I thought that he probably had like a developmental delay of some kind and that he actually needed help. And he didn't ask me for help. And I would like to step away from the character of the dream ego, the person who I identified most with in the dream at this moment, and say, I have some ambivalence about the fact that like I just stepped in at this moment and decided that he needed help and that I would provide that help. He didn't ask for that. I wonder why. So I went I went around the carport, or through the carport, and in the middle of the building was an outdoor stairwell that went all the way up to now, before I said it was 3 stories, but as I wrote it down, it looked like 3 to 5 stories. So maybe as I got closer, I reconciled the size differently. But I called up into this big stairwell. I was like, hello, there's someone down here who needs help. Everything was silent for a minute, and then the door opened, and a person who I have known for a very long time, a friend of mine, came out of their apartment and looked down, and they're like, oh, hey. So this person is a person, and I'm telling you about the person without, I'm not going to actually reveal any of the names of the people that are my dreams on this YouTube channel because privacy. But I'll tell you a little bit about him. This person was a student of mine early on. I also knew family members of theirs, and then later we became artistic collaborators. We were involved in a few projects together of dramatic effort, and we sort of worked together on those. And later, as an adult, this person became really well connected in the arts community in the small town that I lived in. And so I was very surprised that he was up there, and he just kind of like waved at me. He was like, "Oh, hey," waved at me to let me know that he had heard that someone needed help. Went back in, and out came a woman who knew, like, you know, you could tell just from her gait that she was in charge. I think I've said the word gait, G-A-I-T, 3 different times in this video. Unlikely, right? And so, this is so long. I'm so sorry, it's almost over. So she came down, and I felt relieved because I felt like she was in charge and she was going to be able to manage things for this person. And I went in, uninvited, to a first floor room, and I looked around, and all the furniture was gone and nothing was hung on the walls, but I could immediately tell that my friend, I guess I shouldn't name him, should I? That my friend, who is a singer of some renown, lived here, could possibly even be here in another room, and impulsively I started to sing a song that I had made up. And I was so excited that I was singing this song because I was convinced that my friend would hear it and love it so much that he would put it on his next album. I really was convinced of it. And then I woke up. So the dream is over now. And I went to the bathroom. I wrote this down though. But I went to the bathroom, and unlike most of the times when I dream a song, a few songs I can pull from the dream world into the real world. But I could remember everything about this song. And I was in the bathroom, using the bathroom. This is a middle-aged man dream, in the middle of the night. And I was singing the song out loud. And I thought, this is the most repetitive, simplistic, banal music I have ever heard in my life. And I cannot believe that I sang it in public knowing full well that my friend would hear it. I'm just so embarrassed.